great things, we must not only act, but also dream. Not only plan, but also believe. And Anthony Edwards seems to be the living, breathing, high-flying embodiment of that very idea. He literally came into the league believing he was going to develop into the league's best player, and sooner rather than later, lead his squad to a championship. And through the first 5 games of this postseason, where he's put it up 33, 7, and 5 a game, and guided his team to 5 straight wins, he's got many around the league realizing just how close he may be to achieving those dreams. More now from our NBA Countdown crew.
Game 1 of the highly anticipated series between the Denver Nuggets and Minnesota Timberwolves did not disappoint. Stephen A. Smith, Michael Wilbon, I'm Malika Andrews. 43 for Anthony Edwards. I honestly felt bad for my neighbors, how loudly I was yelling at the television, Michael Wilbon. Have the Timberwolves met, are they the match? Have the Nuggets met their match here?
I think so. And we could see this going in. Remember, last year, no Naz Reid, no Jaden McDaniels.
Correct.
Now, Jaden didn't really play yesterday either at 0 for 7, but that's another story. To have their presence in a lineup that sort of pushed Denver last year, Malika, to your original point, is important. And the maturation. I mean, if people don't think that Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards, is just a lot better now than he was last year, they're missing that point. Minnesota sort of understands what it is doing, and they're built, personnel-wise, to deal with Denver, the size. Stephen A. and I were just talking about Rudy Gobert, whether we need more to see more offense from him, whether Minnesota needs that. Not necessarily, because you have Naz Reid who can pitch in. You have so much defense. You have so many ways of dealing with Denver and Denver's offense, which we know is as efficient as it comes in the league. They seem to be a match.
Right. Well, they are a match because of their size, their defensive tenacity, their depth along with their youthful enthusiasm. When you're the Denver Nuggets, the reigning defending NBA champions, much respect to them, but you lose a Jeff Green, you lose a Bruce Brown, and you see a guy like Ant-Man having his way with a Jamal Murray, with a Reggie Jackson, or with a Kentavious Caldwell-Pope or whatever, you have to stand down and recognize something special is developing before our very eyes. This man is must-see television. He is absolutely electrifying, and he's galvanizing the team in a way that has them all energized. That's one thing, Wilbon, we've seen it over the years with many people, along with yourself, Malika, where you see somebody and it's like everybody else is spectating. With him, they spectate when they need to spectate. They participate when they need to participate.
What hurts
and that's special, and that's what makes them good.
If Jamal Murray is 75 or 80%.
Not good enough.
That's not good enough on the Anthony Edwards.
Not this.
100% might not be good enough on Edwards. Less than that certainly isn't, and he seemed to struggle in that way. That's something to watch for game 2.
I have Minnesota winning this series because of Ant-Man.
I don't want to be a prisoner to recency bias, but the Denver Nuggets starters at -24, and the comments that Nikola Jokic made afterward when he said, I might need to clone myself 2 times over in order to go toe-to-toe with these guys, that is worthy of our attention. They're trailing in a playoff series since the first round against the Warriors in 2022, and as you can see here, the history, it does not stop with Kobe for Anthony Edwards. We've talked about the Timberwolves, right, as being built literally by the same general manager, Tim Connolly, to go toe-to-toe with the Denver Nuggets. But Wilbon, Stephen A., even on Friday when we were all doing our Sports Center segment, you weren't ready to take Minnesota. Are you ready now?
I don't know. This is one of those where I'm not going to be cocky and sit here and say I've got answers. I just want to enjoy watching the emergence of a great young player. There are a lot of terrific players in the league, but Anthony Edwards' emergence seems different. I don't know if I'm ready to take it. I know this. I didn't need convincing about Anthony Edwards when most other people, including everybody at this network, did not have Anthony Edwards in their top 5 MVP, and I had him there since January.
But you're not ready to take him in the series. You're not ready.
The champs, Malika.
You ready?
They're the champs.
Hell yeah. I'm ready.
That's an answer.
I'm ready. I mean, I'm not the astute Wilbon, the Godfather, but I'm ready. I got Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves winning this series. I mean, I've seen enough. This brother he is so sensational, it's hard to put into words. I said it before, Wilbon, over social media last week. MJ, Kobe, Anthony Edwards. It's not just about the ability, the 36.35 that he's 33.5 that he's averaging against Denver this season, the 33.4 he's averaging in this postseason. Right now in this postseason, Wilbon, let me tell you this right now. Fourth quarter in the postseason. He leads the entire league in points at 10.8, 69% shooting from the field, 57% shooting from three-point range, and hasn't missed a free throw in 14 attempts. This is in the fourth quarter. This is what he's doing. At the age of 22, okay, we know the athleticism. But guess what we also see? We don't just see the athleticism when he drives to the basket, when he's dunking the ball. We see the athleticism when he's blocking shots on the defensive side of the ball. He is the best two-way guard in the NBA.
There's something
right now.
There's something much greater than that.
Right now. Go ahead.
He's the follow me, damn it, player on that team.
Yes.
Okay, and they're going to follow.
I was looking for those words. You got it.
And that's what reminds a lot of us more of the two guys, the two gentlemen you mentioned earlier. The fire, the controlled rage with which he plays, his demeanor at all times. How about the other night at the press conference when he's sitting there with Karl Anthony Towns and he's talking about not fouling? And he can sit there in the moment, a public moment, and chastise Karl Anthony Towns, but be playful about it, be a complete and utter charismatic leader.
Yes.
And the Minnesota Timberwolves have to look at him almost as opponents do and be in awe of Anthony.
And let me say this. They are. I know a few of those folks in Minnesota. They are in awe. This brother is the truth and a half. He is the real deal. Follow me, guys.
I'm glad we got you there after the early weeks of telling me about other people.
I had other people. I got him as a top 3 today. He just wasn't top 2.
What about you, Perk?
I'm going to tell you this. The Minnesota Timberwolves are going to the NBA Finals. I know that much. As long as they're healthy, that wasn't a fluke what we saw last night. This is who they've been all season long. A bunch of dogs, some nasty wolves, led by Anthony Edwards, who is a killer when it comes down to ready for the moment. But when I think about the personnel, right, and you think about Jokic last night shooting 11 for 25, it's not going to get any easier for Jamal Murray because you know why? They have Jaden McDaniels. You have Anthony Edwards. You have Mike Conley. Did you see Mike Conley hitting those timely three-point shots?
Reed.
Did you see Karl Anthony Towns playing with a different passion? And can I take a moment? Can I take a moment to tell Anthony Edwards, I don't know if he's watching, I hope he is, but I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you. All the OGs and the old heads that have retired and went away from the game of basketball, guess what? We're ready to renew our vows back with the NBA because he has given us life again. With that type of being that type of competitor, being that type of leader, playing with force. We're in the era right now where the Europeans were looking like they were taking over the game of basketball, and Anthony Edwards have stepped up to the plate and said, hold up 1 second, we're still here.